What's going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Fanatic Journey. So pretty exciting day, Gravity launch. I want to go over some of the current data points, go over some of the highlights of the Gravity, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So Lucid did close 1.42% in the green today. I was anticipating, especially based on the specs that came out about the Gravity, for it to close a little bit higher. But if you look at what happened to the whole EV sector, they got massacred. So Tesla, Rivian, Polestar, a lot of the big names just got beaten to death today. So Lucid closing 1.42% is kind of okay. 31.37 million shares being traded, 31.13 is the average. Of course, Lucid already did update their main page to incorporate the Gravity. There's a lot of just PR out there already that I wanted to share, some of which with you, especially this video, which is of the whole Gravity launch. You get to see inside of it, and so I'm going to go over some of the highlights, but basically 80,000. That is something that everyone is very optimistic about, because even myself, I've been saying that if it's 80,000 or less, the market's going to take that as very optimistic. Vice versa, if it's around 120 or higher, not so much. And based on this, it does say starting at, so there is going to be different price points. So probably at 80,000, maybe 100,000, and then probably a more of a luxurious one around 120. That's just my own estimate. They didn't really kind of break that down, but it does say that production is going to be kicking off late 2024. And of course, in this video, it does show the inside of it and many things like that. A lot of people really did like the actual new color that is being shown for the Gravity. So this is called Lunar Titanium, was posted by Let's Go Lucid on here. So pretty cool stuff overall, if you ask me. So I'm just going to quickly play this video, and then I'll go over and talk on some more data points that you need to know. But while this does play, let me know your thoughts on this, and if you have any questions, or if there's anything that stands out to you during this video.
Please come inside.
Thank you, Peter. All right, here we are. Lucid Gravity. There's the 34-inch screen. We're gonna go ahead and look in the back here. We've got the fold flat seats. There's a mountain bike sitting upright in the back here. We've got a surfboard. There we go. And this is a beautiful new color for Lucid. I've never seen this green before. The wood accents. Again, it's a 7-seat SUV, starting about $80,000. Fully electric, 120 kilowatt hour battery. I'm wondering, so they've got a roof rack up there. And they're saying that this is completely designed from the ground up. This is not on the Lucid Air platform. They're saying that they went their own new platform for the Gravity.
So pretty cool video. Ultimately, you get to see that. The only thing that really stood out to me that maybe was different was in the back seat, there was that bar to really kind of lock in the bike, for instance, or whatever else. And I think the bike being there really showed the roominess, if that makes sense. But you did see some people even standing, I guess, where they're taller than the Gravity itself. So I think it might be just generally lower. I'm not really sure about that, but I think pretty exciting stuff based on the price point, just the color. And again, I think in reality going forward, this is supposed to make up almost about like 50 to 60% of all the future sales. So based on this price point, I think that might actually live up to their whole expectations. But then again, I could be wrong. So what's your viewpoint on this as well? What do you think of this color? I really like this, although to be fully honest, if they somehow incorporate the stealth package on this, that would look absolutely sleek as hell. So hopefully down the line they do have that. But I'll go over some data points that you need to know. So based on today options wise, there was around $2.9 million in puts being purchased versus 844,000 in calls. So despite the optimistic kind of data points that came out associated to the Gravity, people are anticipating for it to trend down a little bit. Looking at the specific calls though, based on the strike prices, expiry dates, based on this, it is anticipating for it to be above around 450 by the end of next week. So kind of optimistic. By looking at puts though, it is anticipated to be sub $4. So you kind of see both extremes. Of course, there was a lot of blood in the market today. So if this didn't really come out, or if it was, let's say, higher price point on gone like 120 or higher, then probably Lucid would have gotten really massacred along with the other EVs out there. But looking at the latest round of 13S, you do see a lot of institutions still increasing their position fairly high, and even Morgan Stanley, so that one's a funny one. They have always increased their position almost every single quarter. So this quarter they did increase it roughly by 6.77%. But yet, funny enough, they are always one of those ones that have just hated Lucid. So they did recently, it looks like last time was around 3 months ago, but they maintained their sell rating and a $5 price target. So who knows, maybe Adam Jonas will come once again down the pipeline and give maybe a $1 price target. Who knows? But they've never really liked Lucid from the get-go. But despite that, they are always increasing their position. As of today, Vanguard hasn't disclosed their 13F yet, so most likely it'll come hopefully tomorrow, if not early next week. So BlackRock, obviously another big player in the game, did increase their position. So as you can see, good old BlackRock by 6.69%. But even better yet, shorts were returning some of their shares. So today, roughly around 750,000 shares were returned, 27.83% of the free floats being shorted, and 246.58 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is around 24.09%, and through the interactive broker short availability, 0 shares are available to be shorted. So kind of an interesting dynamic when it comes down to all of that. And I feel like shorts are really betting against the Gravity, but based on that $80,000 price target, I feel like that's very much accepted by kind of a lot of the investors out there. So who knows? I'm pretty happy with how the Gravity kind of unveiling and launch turned out. As well, I do like the fact that they're saying like starting at, so meaning that they can have different variations and so forth. So I think the Gravity was a pretty big success if you ask me. And plus the fact that shorts were returning on a very green day, very much optimistic, and kind of signals the fact that bigger and better things might be coming. Just a lot of people clearly are not optimistic based on the options. I'll give you an overview of what the technicals actually say. So with it at $4.28, it is currently trading between this S1 and the pivot. So $3.94 is going to be that next strong support, and $4.59 is going to be that next strong resistance. Pretty wide of a gap, so there is going to be a lot of volatility in the foreseeable future. So just be aware of that. And plus, when there is a lot of volatility, options usually is your best friend. So if you don't know options, highly suggest in researching them because they can be very profitable for you. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. You guys always do your own due diligence. And also on a side note, options activity, when I do review it, is just merely a sentiment. All of this technically does not even move the stock price whatsoever. Looking at some other data points I do like to look at is momentum. So it shows number of retail investors for the first time in a very long time is actually above 0. That does mean that new actual buyers are getting into Lucid, which last time was roughly beginning of October and then kind of mid-September. So it's very few and far between overall, but number of retail investors have been slowly re-entering Lucid ever since it looks like October the 30th. And based on the actual chart, it did transition from the lower to the higher percentile of the Bollinger Band as well. So pretty good stuff. Stochastic is nice and bullish, a black line above the red, and as well it is at 40. So definitely fairly good things could be coming down the pipeline. So I think there's still a lot more room for it to potentially go up and maybe touch this $4.59 maybe tomorrow, maybe early next week. I don't know if it has enough to get above it at this stage. I think the broader market data point wise really needs a little bit more of an extra push to get above that. But nonetheless, as what we always knew when it comes down to Lucid, sometimes the stock price just doesn't do what we want, but you have to look at the bigger picture and realize that, for instance, the Gravity, like this, is going to be a very big success. So let me know your thoughts on the Gravity in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And take advantage of this promo. It is only up until November the 20th. So sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000, plus you get 1 free share of SoFi. So for $100, you get 6 stocks, plus any cash that you do have in this account, you are earning 5.1% APY. So this is an amazing offer, only up until November the 20th. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.